What a shitty, crappy, miserable day in pretty much all of the Northeast. Anyways, do you guys want to know what New Dog does on days like this? Here, I'll show you. What are you doing, New Dog? You just gonna stay under there all day? Okay. Well, we'll see you later. So, that's the New Dog update for the day. Since it's such a miserable day, why not make a video? Well, I make videos every Monday. But anyway, it's time for your annual Archfiend What's on Your Friggin' Mind update video. Grey Goose Vodka, get on my level. Anyways, it'll take me like a year to go through that bottle. By year, I mean decade. Anyway, this whole Donald Trump thing, holy shit. I gave my thoughts about this some weeks ago in that I said how it was stupid that guys like Kasich, however you pronounce his name, it's a ridiculous name, how people aren't dropping out and just having one person to say like, okay, Donald Trump's got a commanding lead, let him run away with it and blah, blah, blah. And it is really getting to the point, and I never thought, and I tweeted about this a couple weeks ago, that I never thought that in my lifetime I would actually see a brokered convention in that whatever candidate is in the lead going into the Republican National Convention, they are not going to get enough delegates to be named the Republican candidate for president. And by God, it may happen. It may happen, but that is very depending on what happens tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is going to be game, set, match. If Donald Trump takes Florida and Ohio, it's over. It's over. Like, the end. Step out. Cruz needs to step out too. Anyway, but here's the thing. It doesn't necessarily mean it will be the end, because you can still have a brokered convention. Because Cruz could still get enough delegates, Rubio can still suck out enough delegates, and hopefully Kasich can at least carry his home state of Ohio. He can still get enough delegates that Donald Trump won't get enough delegates to win the spot as Republican nominee. And I never thought I would see this in my life, but this is crazy. Because let's say we get to a brokered convention, and let's just hypothetically say the convention chooses Cruz. All right? They choose Cruz as their candidate. Trump's out, Kasich's out, Rubio, you've always been out, but you're officially out now. Your Facebook officialed out. Okay, so let's just say it comes down to Cruz being the candidate. Ted Cruz is your Republican candidate. That now opens the door for Donald Trump to run as an independent candidate, a la a Ross Perot type candidate. And only this time where Ross Perot had about like 10%, a solid 10% of the vote behind him till his vice president nominee went on a debate and just embarrassed himself. Anyway, I forget that guy's name. Anyways. So you can have an election this year between Hillary, hypothetically Ted Cruz, and Donald Trump on an independent ticket. That is a nightmare scenario, because Donald Trump, at his worst, is going to take at least 25% of the vote as an independent, leaving 75% left to decide whether or not Ted Cruz or Hillary Clinton are going to be their next president, or are enough people going to elect Donald Trump as an independent. Like, this is crazy, people. Like, this is crazy. If you don't follow American politics, follow it for just this 1 year. Because shit is getting insane. And on top of all the insanity of the potential of having a brokered Republican convention, and some people are saying like, well, isn't that going to happen with the Democrats as well, between Bernie and Hillary? Bernie ain't got the black vote. Hillary has got enough votes. and Hillary's just way too far ahead. I'm personally rooting for Bernie Sanders, but he's just not going to win. You can't get the Democratic nod if you cannot get the black vote. The black vote is so far onto the Hillary wagon. Anyway, enough about that. Another thing that is so crazy about this whole Republican convention and election and everything like that is this divide. And this is like going back to like 70, 60, like civil rights era type disputes in crowds and yelling and disruptions where events are being canceled. Donald Trump had to cancel an event in Chicago, I think it was a suburb of Chicago, wherever, this past weekend because protesters and the pro-Trump people were literally going fist to fist with each other, ripping up signs, locking arms, standing in unity against one another. Like, as bad as all that is, and you don't want to see things devolve to that, or some could argue it's an evolve to that, I find it interesting that people are having passion about politics again, because I am a disgruntled American citizen that is mostly disgruntled because my country's citizens don't give a flying fizzuck about politics, about their elected officials, don't even care to show up at the polls. If you care and you don't like Donald Trump to win, or you want him to lose, show up at the polls and vote him out. Don't sit there and complain about it. Get up off your ass and do it. Anyway, as someone who is a disgruntled voter of the past, I am actually going out to vote. Something I thought that I got so jaded to the system. I was to the point of last year, I was like, I don't even see myself ever voting again. Like, I am voting because this country actually has a passion in its heart. At least it's trying to convince me it does. But at the end of the day, I know a lot of it is still the same old shit. You're going to get the same old thing in a lot of ways, but in one way it's new in that there is a genuine hatred, and maybe that's too strong of a word, but there's a genuine disliking of Donald Trump that it is motivating people to get out and vote, to go into these primaries, but unfortunately more of Donald Trump's people are showing up. Or are we just to a point in our history here in America where, frankly, it's time for a Donald Trump, or this country, frankly, deserves a Donald Trump? You tell me. Anyway, that is the bulk of most of everything I wanted to talk about. 8 minutes so far. Just some other odds and end news and notes. I'm done talking about politics here with you guys today. Other odds and ends news and notes. Girlfriend and I went out to dinner last night. We're going to do dinner and a movie. So, did dinner at P.F. Chang's. Love me some P.F. Chang's. Even got the wife to learn how to eat with chopsticks. It's a Chinese heritage in me. It's my duty to teach people. I'm half Chinese, by the way. Do you believe that? No? You shouldn't. Anyway, went out to go see a movie. Actually, went out to see the movie before dinner. Finally, went to see Deadpool. Shit is sold out! Movie's been out for a month and it's sold out? Finally went out to see Deadpool and the shit is sold out. It's been out for over a month. So I was hoping to give you some sort of Deadpool review today in my weekly video, but we're going to have to wait on that. Still heard nothing but good things about it, but I'm going to get around to seeing it one of these days, people. I promise you. And I'll give you my honest reviews probably in one of these Monday videos, or I might just make a separate video out of it. I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. And to end things off today, we'll talk a little sports. Some people have been telling me how this whole Chase Daniel signing as backup quarterback in Philadelphia, this is a good thing because, he played under Drew Brees, one of the greatest quarterbacks in the modern era, a Super Bowl champion. he played under his tutelage, and he's going to bring that. Doug Peterson, the current coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, was once an NFL coach. Do you know who he played the backup quarterback for before he came to the Philadelphia Eagles to be a starting quarterback? He played a backup to Brett Favre and Dan Marino. Doug Peterson, as a starting quarterback, led the Eagles to a tremendous 4-win season. Don't give me that shit of who a quarterback has served under. A quarterback is either good or not. Now, can you benefit from serving under someone like a Peyton Manning, a Dan Marino? Obviously you can, yes. I'm not denying that. But it doesn't automatically mean you're going to be a good quarterback. Who the hell else could you be a quarterback under, a backup quarterback under, than Dan Marino and Brett Favre? Anyway, moving along. NCAA tournament time, the one time of the year where I really, really, really love college sports. At least out of the big four. Baseball, hockey, football, and basketball. Love the NCAA tournament. I think it is the absolute purest playoff system that there is. Love the format. All the people crying every year comes up. Oh, this team got snubbed. That team got snubbed. Oh, it's so. No team that got snubbed had a chance of winning the tournament. And I know people just want a seat at the table and they're upset about that. But a couple of Philadelphia teams in it. St. Joe's in it. Temple's in it at number 10. And Villanova in at a number 2. Temple and Villanova both playing in the South seed. People are a little bit upset with that because if you play in the East seed, the final games are the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 round are in Philadelphia. So, you could have had Temple or Villanova play in front of a Philadelphia crowd. But let's be kidding, neither of those teams are getting to the Sweet 16. Villanova is going to choke again. I'm just going in with a full-out negative attitude since they just pissed on my hopes for them and a local team making some fucking noise here in college sports. Anyway. But you know what? Villanova's not going in with the number 1. They were number 1, right? They were the number 1 ranked team for a good 6 weeks or so. Just a couple weeks back. Maybe that'll take a little bit of pressure off of them to go in not as a number 1. Not there's much difference of going in as a number 1 or a number 2, but maybe the pressure's a little bit off of them. And I'll be curious to see if that crying flute girl will be back. Maybe she'll start crying again. Anyway, I don't know if do you guys remember the crying flute girl? Does anyone? Anyway. Spring training baseball. The Phillies look good in spring training. But if there's one thing Philadelphia sports have taught me, don't take an ounce of damn stock. I thought I knew this lesson, but clearly last year I didn't because the Eagles were the preseason champions of NFL football. Look at that, got them. This Phillies team is good. It's young. It's got speed. It doesn't have pitching for... Jesus Christ, the starting rotation sucks. It's at least going to be a fun team to watch offensively here. Sixers, Jahlil Okafor, knee surgery, out for the rest of the year. Not that there was much of a reason to watch this team, but the Sixers, I think, will win one more game the remainder of the year. Though I know I said that they end up beating Brooklyn the second that Jahlil Okafor is listed as out for the year. They end up and they win like. As far as hockey goes, not that I got much hope in the Flyers, but a huge game between the Flyers and the Red Wings. You hear me, UTF? You hear me? Is Detroit keeping that 8th playoff spot, that spot on the bench, warm for the Flyboys? I think Detroit's going to go in as the 8, but who knows? Here's hoping that the Flyers beat the piss out of the Red Wings. And then we all go onto Twitter and laugh at Undertaker Freak because he's going to be crying. And he's going to watch my team get a seat at the table and hit. Well, not that the playoff seeding is decided, but UTF knows that Flyers have owned the Pittsburgh Penguins as of recently. And the Red Wings they're just clinging on to that 8th spot. And they're like, I don't know if I can hold on much longer. I don't know if I can. Got a big game against the Flyers now. And the Flyers still have to play the Pittsburgh Penguins 1, 2, 3 more times, a team they've owned. I'd probably just jinx the shit out of it now. But anyways, be sure if the Flyers go on to beat the Red Wings, you all go on the Twitter and you laugh at UTF and say, ha ha ha, your team sucks, bench warmers for the Flyers, ha ha. Not that the Flyers would do anything if they get in at the 8th seed. But you never know. In hockey, that's the one sport where you never know. You get hot at the right time going to the playoffs. Like, you think anyone wants to play Anaheim right now? What if they lost, 2 times in the last 20-something games? Anyway. That's pretty much everything I want to talk about here today, guys. Get that Monday morning video for you out as usual. Little sports fix, little politics fix, little movie fix that I wish I could have reviewed the movie Deadpool for you guys. Shit. Anyways, see you guys next Monday, or unless I decide to get off my ass and make a video in between then. For now, goodbye from New Dog. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. It's not much for words. Have a good day, everyone.